Over the last year or 18 months, I've transitioned my studio from a computer DAW-based system to a physical analog gear tactile environment, and it's been transformative. I've enjoyed it immensely. I've discussed that change in a previous video. I'll link it above. But there have been some issues that have cropped up that need to be addressed, and it's going to require the redesign of the studio again. The first is that the studio has become incredibly overcrowded. Having a tactile environment is amazing. And this is not a problem of acquiring too much gear and not knowing, and not needing it. I use everything I have in here, but this room is not tremendously large. It's overcrowded at the moment, and more to the point, it's not ergonomically workable. So, for example, right behind me here, I have the Prophet Rev 2 16 voice, the desktop version, and it's in a place that's easily seen and accessed. But honestly, to use it and program it, I have to stand over it and hover over it, and the screen is kind of small and in the distance. I'm old, I need glasses, I can't see. I mean, it becomes an issue where I end up with back pain trying to use the synthesizer. It's just not ergonomically feasible for me. I have other synthesizers that are on stands, so they're up high and they're kind of at an angle like this, and I'm a classically trained pianist, so I have a technique that works here. When I'm suddenly doing this for 45 minutes trying to track something, I end up with some pain. This is not something I can sustain, so I'm going to need to address how do I have access to all of this gear while making it ergonomic. The second thing that's been an issue is that the center of this system is a Yamaha DM1000. It's an incredible digital compact mixer. It's about 15 years old or something now, but it was the top of the line at the time, or close to it, and so it sounds incredible. I've got all the expansion cards, so I've got 48 channels in, 48 channels out, which means that every piece of gear that I have in here, I can turn it on and instantly hear it and get it to work. But it's a complicated machine, the mixer is. So when I want to record and route things to the buses, to the DAW, I have to really stop my flow and think about what's going where, how is this working, and it's all virtual, right? So it's not a physical thing. So I have to, remember things and look. I mean, I'm getting older. What can I say? And what's really inspired me to do this is I collaborate with folks, and I was recently at a friend's studio. Actually, Allison, if you follow my channel or know me, you know who Allison is. We have a podcast, I'll link that above, that we do, and we collaborate often. So I was at her studio, and she's undergone some changes in her place. And when I got there last time, it was transformed. She had opened up the space, decluttered, and made everything tactile and analog. She has now a 32-channel Midas board that she runs everything through. And she doesn't even need to have her computer on at all to run her studio. And I worked in that environment for a few days and found it just inspirational. And so I want to go for a feeling in this little room. While I want all the gear available, I want a feeling that is more like what she has, something that's open, airy, and inviting and comfortable to work in, as opposed to feeling a little claustrophobic. So I'm extremely fortunate. I live on a mountain in northern New Hampshire. It's unspeakably beautiful here, and I'm in a room with the studio here that has multiple large windows, and I've blocked them all up with sound treatment, and I've stuck a big mixing desk, against so I can't really take advantage of the mountain views that I have, or the nature views that I have, or there's a small stream that runs right outside the studio here, and I can't see it. So I want to reorganize the room so that I have access to these windows and I can feel a little more connected to the outside and let in more natural light. So I've been thinking a lot about this over the last few days, and I think I have a solution. It's essentially this. I want to create some flex stations in this little room that I put gear into and use, and have it easily patched, easily usable, instantly usable, but then I can pick up the gear and store it in an adjacent room. And essentially I have two kinds of gear that I use: synthesizers that I'm performing on, and then modular gear, right, like behind me. So I want 2 stations then. Well, 3 stations. A synthesizer station, a modular station, and then a little mixing station. Or not so little mixing station with outboard gear readily available. So I have a layout that I've come up with that I think will work, and some routing that will work. One thing I didn't mention is that this new studio is Linux-based, which is incredible. I mean, I'm a Linux user for decades, but I have had to be, use proprietary systems to have access to the VSTs and the plugins and the fancy DAWs that we all know and love. I'm now using Mixbus, Harrison Mixbus, on Linux, and I love it. It's very simple. It's extremely simple. But what it really does is it focuses my arrangements and my production such that I essentially mix as I record. I mix as I track. I don't mean I'm actually stopping to mix. I mean that I print things as I want them to sound. I commit to them fairly early. And as long as everything is sounding great, which it does because of the gear I have, it's fantastic. I have no issues. I track that stuff and I do a little quick mixing at the end with the Harrison Mixbus, and the music comes out to my satisfaction anyway. So what I'm planning to do is to remove the Yamaha mixer, which I mentioned before has been a bit of a complication to my setup, and instead replace it with a very simple, in vintage in this case, Yamaha PM series 8-channel 4-out mixer, a simple analog, fully analog mixer, and create a patch-based system that connects my stations, connects the modular station, connects the synthesizer station, connects the mixing station, all together through the patch base, so that whatever I'm working with, whatever gear that I've pulled out and put on the stand, I patch it into the patch bay, and then I patch it into my mixer or patch it wherever I want to go. It's a physical patch bay system, which I can see and will be clearly labeled. Again, the inspiration from Allison's studio is at work here because I watched that happen and compared that to the process I have in the digital mixer, where I'm opening up spreadsheets and looking to see how things are routed so that I can pop through 100 menus to get to the point where I want to route things. In this case, it will be a physical patch bay. I connect the devices up as I want to use them. I record to the DAW, which is essentially a tape machine, and track my music that way. Incidentally, the studio has a few issues with the ceiling, actually, the physical ceiling. So as I reorganize, I'm going to be addressing those along the way. And I'm making this video to share with you, to take you along on the journey if you're interested. So I'll have installments to this process as we go. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I love the comments. Please comment. And until next time, be well.